The European Union is now backtracking after the commissioner threatened Musk over a Trump interview. They're trying to push censorship around the world, and here's what we have to tell you on Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. This segment is sponsored by Goldco, helping Americans protect their retirement and savings with real gold and silver at vnngold.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Let's start the show. Well, we all know that censorship is a very important issue and it threatens all of our futures. Well, the EU is now backtracking after a commissioner threatened Musk over a Trump interview, InfoWars reports. It took less than a day for the European Commission to completely backtrack on its attempt to intimidate ex-owner Elon Musk into censoring his interview with President Trump. Officials distanced themselves from the commissioner who sent the threatening letter and claimed that he acted alone with no prior authorization from Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen. As we reported, Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton, the EU's self-styled digital enforcer responsible for creating and overseeing the bloc's infamous social media censorship tool, the Digital Services Act, wrote a letter to Musk ahead of the billionaire's 2-hour-long live interview with the Republican presidential candidate, reminding him that failing to moderate any content on X that may incite violence, hate, or racism, including in the context of elections, will face legal repercussions and the full use of the EU's toolbox. The threat turned out to be counterproductive as conservative politicians on both sides of the Atlantic rushed to call out Brussels' attempt to violate the principles of freedom of expression, as well as to interfere in the democratic electoral process of an outside country, the United States. Now, Trump campaign manager Chris LaCivita said European Union is attempting to meddle in the U.S. election. They can go to hell. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that while the First Amendment, the right to free speech, isn't necessarily ingrained in a constitution, a Bill of Rights, or in any sort of formal document in a lot of these countries, just like Australia, there still is a right to free expression, or there is a entitled not to be interfered with by the authorities when you're just expressing your opinion. But somehow we've lost that because this new elitist class of replacement immigration, right, where they're just taking people from the third world, hyperinflation, fiat currency that has no backing, this new weird global order that they all want and somehow are pushing on us, you can't even criticize it, right? That's the whole problem. You cannot criticize this. Well, it gets even worse. Facing the growing backlash, the commission simply chose to throw Breton under the bus, completely washing its hands of what it described as the unfortunate action of an official gone rogue. The timing and the wording of the letter were neither coordinated nor agreed with the president nor with the other commissioners, a commission spokesperson said on Tuesday, August 13th. Now, several anonymous bureaucrats also came forward to snub Breton and further distance himself from him. Thierry has his own mind and a way of working and thinking, one of them told the FT, while another source seemed to regret the fact that Breton's stunt may hinder future digital regulations. He told Politico the DSA implementation is too important to be misused by any attention-seeking politician in search of his next big job. Now, it may be true that the commissioner's decision to send the letter was made without wider consent within the commission, but the argument still seems like a weak excuse given the internal market chief, Breton, is fully empowered to oversee enforcement of the DSA and can communicate with companies who fall subject to the new rules independently. Furthermore, as much of the PR disaster as it turned out to be, Breton's letter did not exist in a vacuum. Critics of the DSA have long warned that certain parts of the flagship legislation package can be easily misused to censor political opposition, primarily right-wing views on social media, as it allows Brussels to unilaterally decide what it deems harmful content that must be purged from the online discussions. Now, we're seeing a lot of this take place currently in the United Kingdom, where native Brits, white Brits, are upset about, migrant gangs and rape gangs and a lot of these things that are going on. And in turn, in all of this, well, what happens? Well, if you actually even call it out and say you don't want your children raped by migrants, you can go to jail for 20 months. So they want to regulate speech. You have to accept this new global order that they're putting in your way. Now, obviously, they also say cash is king, right? I mean, we've all been in that situation. But, the cash that you're holding on to, the money government can devalue and print at will that it's currently devaluing, well, you might want to think about something else to do with that hard cash. Maybe it's purchasing power, something like grabbing precious metals, real gold and silver. It's pretty simple. Go to vnngold.com today, vnngold.com. You'll learn about the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, and how they can help you. They're a great company, top-rated, over 6,000 five-star reviews, a whole bunch of awards, and they support this show. And for my listeners, you can get up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver on qualified orders. So if you're worried about your money losing value, or you just want to buy some precious metals that you can physically hold on to, something that is real, go to vnngold.com. That's vnngold.com. Goldco can help you today. Now, as I mentioned, Jack Posobiec and Mike Benz were talking about this new digital act and how it's going to be used to control the world. Listen to what they had to say.
Currently, the issue, as I see, around the 2024 election, what's coming up ahead of that is mostly, the main threat is driven by the EU Digital Services Act, and NATO being the sort of military arm of the EU. This is going to be the main tool that will be used to try to force Elon to censor like the other major platforms. Those censorship standards are being teed up with the EU's joint partnership with groups like NewsGuard.
So that's the problem, right? And they're going to come in and they're going to try to do outside interference so they can control American elections even more than they already do and stop you from speaking the truth. Now, if you like videos like this that share the truth, make sure you sign up for our newsletter at vigilantnews.com, or you can subscribe to our Rumble and our X accounts at Vigilant News. I'm Elijah Schaffer. This is Beyond the Headlines. Have a great rest of the week. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.